What's going on, everybody, and welcome back once again to the channel. And before we get into today's video, make sure to subscribe and sack that like button. And without further ado, let's begin. I'm gonna be doing my post week 9 NFL power rankings. So without further ado, let's begin. So coming in at number 32, I still have the same team, the Texans, who avoided getting completely blown out Thursday night. Their rookie running back Pierce is looking pretty good. But the sad thing is he's probably going to get worn out and overused his first 2 years. And when the Texans finally get a bit better, he's already going to be kind of worn out with injuries. Coming in at number 31, I have the Panthers, who got blown out by the Bengals. Coming in at number 30, I have the Raiders, who their season is pretty much done. It is done. You can basically say it's officially done. They're 2-6 and just blew another 17-0 lead into the Jaguars of all teams. Devontae Adams at least had his biggest game yet of the season, but what does it really matter? Coming in at number 29, I have the Lions, who were able to get an upset win over the Packers and possibly save Dan Campbell's job, at least for a little longer. Not that I think he would have been fired if they lost after the game, but it would have already made his seat even warmer. Coming in at number 28, I have the Bears, who were able to keep up a bit with the Dolphins in the shootout, but their defense looks terrible. I think the Bears prematurely may have gotten rid of some of their key pieces, because this is a team that could at least contend right now. Coming in at number 27, I have the Jaguars, who we mentioned were able to get the win. The problem is they're still kind of, far back in their division. I still think their season is pretty much done. Coming in at number 26, I have the Steelers, who had a bye week this week. Coming in at number 25, I have the Broncos, who had a bye week this week. Coming in at number 24, I have the Saints, who lost to the Ravens on Monday night, last night. But at least their rookie corner, Alontae Taylor, is playing really well, and I think they got themselves a great dual partner for Marshawn Lattimore at the cornerback position. Coming in at number 23, I have the Cardinals, who offensively just cannot seem to get things going consistently. Coming in at number 22, I have the Colts. Big news of yesterday, they fired Frank Reich. Just an unfortunate run for Frank Reich. He took the job in 2018, which wound up being Andrew Luck's final year. Andrew Luck retired unexpectedly in 2019, and Frank Reich could never really get any stability at the quarterback position. It's an unfortunate firing, but I think the Colts needed a spark. But at the same time, I just don't think what's happened is Frank Reich's fault. But what can you do if you're management? Coming in at number 21, I have the Packers, who, Aaron Rodgers looks terrible, and I don't want to hear these excuses of he has no receivers, because when you're being paid the amount that he's being paid, you should be making things happen regardless of who you have. And it's not like the receivers completely suck. I mean, he has a veteran target in Sammy Watkins. Christian Watson is a second-round rookie with great intangibles and has shown flashes. I mean, it's not the worst wide receiver core in the league. Yeah, it's not a top tier. In my opinion, they're an average unit. Rodgers just needs to get in sync with these guys, and those interceptions he threw were really solely on his part, except maybe the first one. Rodgers is not playing to what he should be playing to. Coming in at number 20, I have the Browns, who had a bye week this week. Coming in at number 19, I have the Falcons, who really blew it against the Chargers. Not only did they have a 10-0 lead, but they had a couple of moments where they had an opportunity to take momentum, and a turnover or a blown turnover really screwed them. Coming in at number 18, I have the Commanders. Taylor Heineke really sold the game for them. They could have actually gotten that upset win over the Vikings, but Heineke with his costly interception. Heineke is wild, throwing that pass he did into triple coverage that wound up being a touchdown, but wow. Coming in at number 17, I have the Rams. Their offensive line is terrible, and the receiving core is not very good. They got a lot of stuff to fix as the defending Super Bowl champions. Coming in at number 16, I have the Buccaneers, who were able to get back in the win column after a few losses, but I think this can be a pivot game for the Buccaneers because, as I've been saying, this is a team that all the talent's there. There really isn't any glaring issue on the roster, so which makes me feel it's more of a psychological thing. And the way they won that game with that game-winning drive, maybe this is what pivots them in the right direction moving forward. Coming in at number 15, I have the Patriots, who were able to completely shut down the Colts, and which led to Frank Reich's firing. Coming in at number 14, I have the Bengals, who, as I mentioned earlier, blew out the Panthers 42-21. Joe Mixon had maybe the best performance of the year by a running back. He had 5 touchdowns, close to 150 yards rushing, which was to be expected. I said that the both running attacks should have a big day on the ground. The Bengals did against that front seven. And as I forgot to mention earlier with the Panthers, Baker Mayfield obviously came in. He'll probably be the starter from here on out. I don't understand why he wasn't playing to begin with. Coming in at number 13, I have the Titans, who against my Kansas City Chiefs were in a dogfight. Malik Willis in his second start, I can't say that Malik Willis played bad, but he didn't play good. I feel like Mike Vrabel and the offensive coordinator kind of took the game out of Malik Willis's hands. I feel like he wound up only throwing the ball 16 times. I mean, I think or 14 to 16 times, somewhere around there, and he completed only 5 passes. I mean, I feel like if they would have had him throwing it more, 25 to 30 times, what the average amount of pass attempts for a quarterback is, I think it may have been ugly for him. They kept the ball out of his hand. They kept him from making mistakes. So, it's hard to say, give a, clear, grade on Malik Willis's performance, but I think as of right now, Ryan Tannehill is probably still the safer option over Malik Willis. But like I said, Malik Willis did show some great athletic ability, and he didn't make mistakes. But like I said, he wasn't really put in a position where he could make mistakes. Coming in at number 12, I have the Giants, who had a bye week this week. Coming in at number 11, I have the Chargers, who, as I mentioned earlier, got that win over the Falcons. They continue to they got another win here. They needed this win. Coming in at number 10, I have the Seahawks. Their defense looks really good. Their running game looks good, and Geno Smith continues to play pretty efficient for the most part. Coming in at number 9, I have the Jets, who got that massive win over the Bills. They were down early, came back and won the game. Wasn't a huge comeback, but the way the game was going, it just looked pretty tough for them to come back in. Their defense really rose to the occasion. And yeah, it was really defense, and their offense did put together that drive at the end of that game. But overall, that Jets defense looks very good. Robert Saleh has to be fired up. And then Robert Saleh's former team coming in at number 8, the 49ers, who had a bye week this week. Coming in at number 7, I have the Ravens, who, as I mentioned, got the win Monday night over the Saints. Marcus Peters visibly upset with John Harbaugh after that weird touchdown the Saints got where he thought he was out of bounds, but he wasn't, so he didn't tackle him. See what happens with that situation. Obviously, they can't trade him at this point, and this isn't the first time this year that he has a flare-up with Harbaugh. Coming in at number 6, I have the Dolphins. Tua is just looking very good, and Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle might be the best wide receiver duo in the NFL. And people could say that these receivers are making Tua look good, but in my opinion, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle aren't the kind of receivers to make their quarterback look better. They're the kind of guys, if they have a good quarterback, they're going to be as good as anybody. But they're not the kind of guys who can carry a quarterback. So what Tua is doing is impressive and cannot be overlooked. Their defense has some legitimate struggles, though. Coming in at number 5, number 5, I have the Cowboys, who had a bye week this week. Coming in at number 4, I have the Vikings, who got the win over the Commanders. Kirk Cousins able to get another win against his former team. Harrison Smith got a huge interception in a clutch moment to get it. Vikings defense won them this one. Coming in at number 3, I have my Kansas City Chiefs, who were able to get a gritty win, and they're winning in different ways. And that win over the Titans was awesome. Patrick Mahomes put the offense on his back on that final drive, getting all those first downs. Juju Smith-Schuster became like the Chiefs' second tight end, almost in a way, to Kelsey, working the middle. And with that big frame, it's almost like he is a tight end. Chiefs defense only held the Titans to 1 first down, in the entire second half. Chiefs are looking very good. Coming in at number 2, I have the Bills. After they are lost to the Jets. Major concern though for them, Josh Allen potentially having to have a surgery on his elbow, which could make him miss extended amount of time, but that's still unclear. But the bottom line is they lost here to the Jets. Their offense got shut down. Josh Allen played terrible, but their defense continued to play well, and their defense was missing a couple starters, which isn't an excuse, but it still played well for them. I just don't trust Josh Allen in the key situations. I still have them high up on the rankings because they, it's only their second loss, and it was a tough game. That the Jets are a very good team, and it's a division rival. So I don't think it's a panic button loss for the Bills, but I think Josh Allen makes some really strange decisions sometimes, and he's a bit of a head case too after he smashed the kicker's kicking net after the game. I just don't think Josh Allen has a good attitude. Coming in at number 1, I still have the Eagles, who have hit 8-0. They are definitely stirring up some talk of the pressure is starting to really build for them of being undefeated. You don't want to lose a game. You don't want to lose now, really, and particularly every game is like a pressure game. Not that I don't know if the feeling within the building of the Eagles is the goal is to go 17-0. I think that's still a long way. I don't think they're thinking about that. That's more something I think they'll start to look at once they hit 12-0 or 13-0. But as of right now, they're 8-0. I think they're the best team right now. Their defense played really well against the Texans. Struggled to stop the run in some situations, but overall they played well. And yeah, Eagles at number 1. So comment down below what you guys think about my rankings. Obviously, my predictions for next week will be coming out tomorrow, and then other than that, I'll see you guys next time.